Yawn for Nancy on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello
Karl
there.
Pilkington. Steve, you got any other toilet-related anecdotes?
Rick, my life is just full of toilet trauma.
Yeah.
And Carl, you may not realise this, but a while back I used to host, this is bizarre, I used to host a radio show on the BBC World Service, right? Now, if you want someone who's the voice of integrity, the voice of intelligence, the voice of a nation, you're going to come to me. That's obvious. And I was broadcasting to, now they've got listeners of something like 50, 60 million people around the world. It's mental, the listenership of the World Service. And I used to host this show with someone else.
It's a big place, Steve.
The World?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And anyway, so I had to be into Bush House, where they broadcast from, 10 o'clock every Friday morning, to broadcast around the world to 50 million people, right? And one week, I went to the toilet in my house, right? Everyone had left. I got there a bit late. I got up a bit late. Already against me. The clock was already against me. Had to be there at 10 o'clock, broadcast around the world. And we got two toilets in our house, downstairs one, right? And the door had already been a bit dodgy. It was one of those doors where you had to give it a bit of a kick as you went in. It was getting a bit tight. I don't know what, the wood was expanding or something. You know, I'm in there. And same thing again happens. No toilet paper. I think, oh, God, I'm going to have to somehow kind of make it up.
Why don't you check first?
I normally do, Rick. I normally do. It's just on certain occasions when I'm bleary-eyed or something, I forget. Or occasionally I forget. Normally I do check.
Right.
And you've got to bear in mind that it's not like this is happening every week. This is over the course of many years that these incidents have accumulated. So
You've condensed them.
For the purposes of this anecdote.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. And great. You're just brilliant. Keeping the pace up of an anecdote there, Rick. You've just drawn in. I don't know where I am now. Anyway, I know where I am. I'm trapped in a toilet with no toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's where I am. And I'm thinking maybe I peel off some of the wallpaper, you know, things like that. But there's nothing I can do. I got to go upstairs. Well, exactly, but I've got to go upstairs and find
toilet paper. Was there any?
There wasn't.
There wasn't. Oh.
I'll have to go upstairs and maybe find a notepad or something like that. Oh. And so I try the door. Right, the door's wedged. And I'm pulling on the door, and I can't get the door open. It's just like it won't come open, and it's already. And I knew it was going to come to this at some point. Like this is like the clock's ticking. I'm trying to pull the door open. Trousers around my ankles again, and I'm thinking, well, what I could do is I could open the window, I suppose, and like try and climb out, but. Not really, because I got the trousers around the ankles. And that's
or if it was raining, just stick your ass out, two birds with one stone.
Sadly, it was a beautiful day, Rick.
I call it the World B-Day.
And so what I'm thinking is, well, I got my mobile phone in there, luckily, because it's in my pocket. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could phone, I was seriously
Kleenex.
Maybe I'll phone the fire brigade.
By this point, I mean, it just dried.
No, it hadn't, it was...
Hold on, was that little puppy not around? Because sometimes you can call that, it's got a little bit wrapped round it.
Listen.
Or just use the puppy itself.
There's 50 million people around the world going to need to hear my voice in like 30 minutes.
Exactly. And where's Steve? He's not locked in the toilet again, is he?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So I'm thinking about phoning the fire brigade, and I'm thinking, like, if I do that, it's gonna be the first call that goes straight on the speakerphone.
Yeah.
For like the entire fire brigade service everywhere.
With a butch hero carrying you down over his shoulders with your trousers around your ankles.
Exactly.
Can I just not pull him up? No, you've got to be taught a lesson.
Yeah. But I imagine the idea of phoning up and going, hello there, I'm trapped in a room in my house. Oh yeah, which one is it? Oh, I don't need to know.
It's quite small. Is it?
Yeah. It's not the toilet, is it? Because we don't want to come and rescue someone who's trapped in the toilet.
Which service do you require? Paper?
So I think I can't find the fire brigade, the clock's ticking. So then I think one of my housemates is still in the house, but still asleep. So I phone the house number. Right, phone rings and rings and rings for ages. And eventually he answers the phone, right? Gets out of bed, answers the phone, yeah. Hi, it's Steve. Alright, what's wrong?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Oh, I didn't wait, don't know. What are you doing? Just in the toilet.
I'm just downstairs in the toilet.
Oh, yeah, what are you doing? Well, I've finished what have you got any toilet paper?
Any bog roll?
Yeah.
So he had to, kind of scrape together a few bits of paper, you know, and sort of tinfoil or whatever he could find in the house.
A cactus.
Come down
oh, no.
Pass it underneath the door, right? And then I said, can you move away from the door because I don't want you to hear me as I'm, you know, wiping the... And so
you didn't say that?
Yeah, well, I didn't want him to, you know, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
What were you wiping it with? Not tumbleweed. What do you mean? What noise?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Right.
So then I say, right, can you smash
Why was he hovering? Why didn't he want to walk away? Will you keep your, what was it, outside with a glass to his ear?
Yeah. Thankfully there was a window in the door, but it was frosted glass. You could just see my semi-naked body moving around. And, so eventually I said to him, look, listen, I'm going to need you to sort of kick the door in. He said, well, I don't want to kick the door in because you're going to have to pay for it, aren't we? I go, yeah, but I got to go to the World Service. Well, yeah. And he was a lovely man. He's the weakest man you've ever come across. It's like if there's one person you don't want to have to throw their body weight against the door, it's him. It's like he'll snap before the door will. So he's smashing against
This
the door.
sounds like a fetish to me, though. He went in there, and there you were naked with lots of toilet paper. And you go, oh, you've broken the door down, and there I am naked. Again.
Oh, you've rumbled me, Rick. I wish I'd not told that embarrassing story on the radio. Like it wasn't embarrassing enough, you've just got to make it slightly more seedy.
Oh, so did he get it down?
He did it, yeah, and I got to the World Service with, like, minutes to spare.
Oh.
And, interestingly, I told that story to 50 million people around the
You're
world.
joking.
Yeah.
Did they understand?
I think so.
I mean, is that a bit of a problem when you're on the World Service? Like, thinking of things that everyone can understand?
Yes.
Because you can't.
It's a bit
just
like
talk
when
about-
talking
Yeah,
to you, Carl.
yeah, exactly, Carl. I think you're on thin ice there, worrying about people understanding what you're saying.
No, but you can't talk about stuff that's on the telly and that, because some people say, well, we haven't even got a telly here.
Oh, yeah, you're listening to XFM 104.9. Play a record. Nirvana, All Apologies on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Well, Steve, I met up with. I know it's forbidden, usually.
I don't know why you
Let me
keep
just
doing
explain to the listener. Me and Steve have got a little bit of a pact. We're not allowed to talk to Karl during the week because he comes out with too much dynamite, and we want it to be fresh, and it's just unfair. And if he sees us laughing, he clams up a little bit because he knows something's wrong with his head. So I was in a pub and Karl called. He returned a call. I'd called you earlier, and I said, "Oh, I'm just across the road. Come over." And he came over, and we had a conversation. And I kept saying, "No, save it." And I can't remember half the things he was saying, but I do remember one thing he said. He said that the human eye never grows. He said, unlike your ears and nose that keeps growing all your life, he says the human eye never grows. Now there's a little bit of, he says, now you look at a baby, it's got big eyes. It's got the same size eyes as it will have.
When
it's
a
never-
baby's born, everyone always goes, oh, look at its eyes, don't they? Because that's like the main feature.
Yes.
They're quite big. They don't grow, they don't get any smaller, they stay the same size.
What you mean, once you become an adult, you've the same sized
No.
eyes?
Soon as you come out of the womb, your eyes, the size they are as a little baby, they stay the same size. It's
Until
just
you
like the
die.
sockets.
And I pointed out to him, right, I said, if that was true, Steve Merchant, when he was a baby, with these eyes he's got now, would have looked like a hammerhead shark.
Alright, calm down. You don't want to go lay into the eyes.
Do you know what I mean? Just to prove my point.
I didn't laugh when
Good.
he said that.
Respect.
Do you know what I mean, though? Imagine,
I've got the eyes of the window to the soul. And mine happen to be enormous
French
plate glass windows. Yeah. But, you know, but nevertheless, they're beautiful. Many people find them beautiful.
Yeah, they're great, yeah, many people do. But,
Do you know they don't have kneecaps either?
My eyes, or?
what?
Babies. when they're born, they don't get kneecaps until they're about 2.
They don't get kneecaps.
Is that true?
Yeah. And
yeah,
also,
What are
it
you
might be
talking
true,
about,
it might
Carl?
be
That's,
true.
but isn't it a little bone it's part of the...
Well, no, but all
the leg bone.
you've got lot more bones when you're born than...
yeah, you got
eventually.
300 when you're born, then 205 when you're an adult.
Yeah, they all fuse, don't they?
Do they?
The head's got to be all soft to come out.
Right.
As we said earlier,
I would know, I'm a shark.
Oh,
So
God.
what did you say when he said about my eyes being huge?
Okay, get off it.
So that isn't nice, considering
Yeah.
he's not here.
Yeah,
So
talking
I
about
wait
him
until
going
he's
like
here when I slag him off.
Yeah, very well. No, nice one, Carl. You're an honourable man.
Oh, well, I know, you see, the thing is, right, that made me think that it might be a little bit of truth in this.
There is as well,
that-
the ear thing. Have you seen that with old
That's
men
true,
who have
yeah.
really long ears
Yeah,
and big noses?
yeah.
You mean
Do
that-
they eat buns and walk around in the jungle, these
I don't
old
understand,
men?
You mean that the ears and the nose carry on growing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, that's true. That's true, it's cartilage.
Yeah, but it's not like sort of Pinocchio.
No, after you're dead. You leave a body lying around, he's got a huge elephant type
Really?
ears.
If you left him long enough?
4-foot nose, that's what, yeah. No,
remarkable.
but they see it's about the focal, length in your eye, you see, because it's like a big lens. So it makes sense that they couldn't change that much. Because an owl, do you know why an owl turns its head round? Sort of like 180 degrees.
No.
Because it can't move its eyes, because the eyes take up the whole, it's the biggest eye in the animal kingdom. The eyes take up the whole of its skull.
Really?
Yeah, and it has to move its, yeah.
Has it got a brain in there as well?
It's got a brain in there, yeah, above the eye, yeah. When I say the whole of the skull,
Quite, yeah. There's
yeah.
also some space for the brain.
What I meant is the two diameters of the eye is the diameter of the...
You've lost me
skull.
there with diameters. And
You didn't like maths, did you?
don't like maths. Never understood it. Couldn't get to grips with maths. I don't know about you, Carl.
Did you do maths, Carl?
Now, how did you do in your exams on the maths? Did you turn up? I bet yours was rather like my theory, which is why do you need to figure it all out when you've got a calculator?
Exactly.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
I agree.
Well, let's play a record, and afterwards I'm going to be testing you on your homework this week, Carl.
Could we do White Van Man first?
We could do, just to, no, they've got to know
just to
what
remind
they're
people.
dealing with, yeah. Carl's homework was to read all about, as you know, Che Guevara.
Absolutely.
Last week he did well on Rasputin, didn't he?
Did very well on Rasputin. Yeah,
and
passed with flying marks there.
Let's have a bit of Wu-Tang, shall we?
Then let's have White Van
Carl.
Man. White Van Carl. Nice.
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan there, Steve. XFM 104.9, I'm Gervais, with Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Now, I just, reminded something else, Carl's in the week. I know it's forbidden to talk to him, but I'll tell you this. He was very excited about the Friends Reunited. He was a bit nervous at first, wasn't he, last week? But he was really getting into it. In the pub he was talking about the people, he said, I'd never go on a reunion though. He said, I'd never do that.
What, a school reunion?
Yeah, and he wouldn't want to see anyone. And I went, well, I said, wouldn't you want to see those two lads with the big heads and the webbed hands?
Oh yeah, these were people you went to school with, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't knock about with them. They were in the class.
What were they called?
Freaks.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And he said, no, I wouldn't want to see them. He said, because what could you say? Oh, you haven't changed much. Right? And he said, and they wouldn't go anyway, would they? I said, why? He went, well, they didn't have any friends.
Right.
And I said, well, weren't they friends with each other? And he went, no, that would have been too obvious. Like, they faster than went, no, I know it's tempting, but let's not.
Everyone would think that's just what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Let's not do it.
Yeah. So they didn't even hang around with each other.
No.
See, I must say, in my head, I've got something like, it's like some sort of extra thing from Blake 7, that they're like some sort of, lagoon monster. But they just had slightly oversized heads, did they?
See, does your head grow? Your eyes don't, does your head? Because maybe they've got to a point now that it's all sort of caught up with each other.
Well, at the time, the eyes were very small and the head was huge.
Just a very big head. And
Yeah.
the fingers aren't going to change, that's not...
They had
not funny.
webbed fingers.
It was like the penguin in Batman.
Really? Are you sure?
No, honestly.
Are you sure they weren't wearing mittens?
No, seriously.
Yeah, it wasn't home economics. They weren't getting something out of the oven, a very hot dish, were they? Every time you saw them.
But why were there two, but they weren't related and they weren't friends?
I don't know, I suppose it's like asthma and that, innit? Some kids have it. And it just was a
Yeah,
coincidence.
but asthma's quite a common thing. Webbed hands, Carl.
Yeah. I don't know, you don't think of it, do you, when you're a kid? You just sort of...
Oh,
when,
yeah,
when you first see them.
Yeah.
There goes the frogmen. Anyway, Carl, look, let's have a little quick session of White Van Man. For those that don't listen to the show regularly, the Sun, as you may know, has a section called White Van Man where a member of the public gets asked their opinions on the week's big political and social hot potatoes. Carl, we just thought it would be fun if you answered some of the questions. It's not so much questions, it's just your views really on these big news stories. What do you make of Olympic ski hero Alan Baxter testing positive for drugs?
What did he do?
Well, he won a gold medal in the Olympics, and
For what?
he was a skier,
Right.
and he won gold medal, and they've just tested him positive for some kind of illegal drug.
But what... if he did, why take drugs to ski?
Why?
Because all you do is balance.
But imagine, it'd be amazing if you were stoned, like going down a hill.
Yeah, it's not like you have
But
to...
it's not going to help you, is it?
No, it's
not
just
like...
gravity that's doing all the work, isn't it, with skiing?
Yeah, but it's often to do with your athleticism, isn't it? It's to
No, but
help
it'd be
you.
like saying, and we've just found out the people on the toboggan were on crack. It's not going to help them. You sit there and you go with the flow.
Yeah,
And you hold
could
on.
I say, the drugs he was
Apparently
taking...
that's his defence,
Probably, he probably wasn't jacking up H or, dropping a few E's or getting stoned. He was probably taking more sort of,
Steroids.
performance-enhancing drugs, as opposed to him just, scoring some shit around the corner from someone,
that
getting
was-
off his tits and jumping in a toboggan. Doesn't mean that, does it?
He wasn't off his nut.
Yeah. You tested you pissed out your head.
But why doesn't he just say, don't be stupid, why would I do that? It's just not going to help me out.
But it is, isn't it? Because performance-enhancing
Hold
drugs
on,
do.
wait a minute, Steve, wait a minute, Carl. Right, look at this way. Okay, look at me, yeah? Have I got his attention?
Yeah, the lights glinting off your ring there.
Yeah.
You're attracted to him.
Okay, right, no, keep concentrating. Right. Some athletes, you're aware they take drugs, that's to build up
Swimmers
muscle.
and stuff.
Yeah, swimmers. For
Runners.
example, runners, yeah. Not only do they help build muscle, right, but they can actually, give them a boost performance-wise,
Yeah.
sort of like steroids and all this sort of stuff, right? So that's the sort of thing we're talking about, okay?
Right. So again,
He wasn't on a
why
bomb
would that help
before.
you?
What?
Why would that help you when all you've got to do is balance on skis?
Not when you're at the Olympic level.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with, your body and your
No,
legs.
it's practice, isn't it? It's like, if you've skied for years, then you've got good balance after a bit.
Oh, do you know what, Carl? Do you know what? You've made a mockery of drug taking. Well done.
Yeah.
Right, next one, Steve.
I hate this bit. I hate this.
I don't know if you saw it. What did you make of Posh Spice's Warts and All documentary?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it.
What did you make of it?
I mean, people are slagging him off, aren't they? Saying, she's daft and that, but
Don't make you.
she's. I think they're all right, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're all right.
She's all right. I mean, I think David's really a decent bloke.
Sure.
Would
you agree that he's quite a simple man?
Yeah, but he's a footballer. He doesn't need to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like me.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I only got an E in history.
Sure.
But knowing about the Tudors doesn't help me press these buttons and put the next CD on.
No, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, good luck to him, and he's done well out of it, and it's just
Yeah.
jealousy.
Yeah.
I remember, though, when I was back in Manchester, I was in Piccadilly train station, and he was there, right? Not as big a star as he is now,
Yeah.
back then, but he was stood there, and I was so close to going over to him and saying, "Did you go to my school?" Because I recognised his face, but I didn't know who he was. Do you know when you sort of go, "Sure, I went to school, it's not the one with the big head,"
Yeah.
but I do recognise him. Then my girlfriend got off the train, and I said, "I'm sure I know him." She said, "Yeah, it's David Beckham." And I was so
thank
close
God
to
for your
going over.
girlfriend. Does she get an awful lot of scrapes, does she?
She does, yeah.
Okay, what about the fact that the pension crisis
Sure.
is going to force Britons to work into their 70s, Carl? You might have to carry on working into your 70s before you can claim a pension.
I think it's a good thing. Because you see a lot of old people who look bored.
Okay.
And I honestly think if you keep your brain busy,
Yeah.
you'll live longer.
Yeah.
It's only when you actually shut down, right, that's when your body sort of dies because it doesn't feel it has a purpose. It's like if you've got flu, keep going to work. If you have a day off, you just feel worse. You'll mope about at home. It doesn't do you any good.
What about,
whatsoever.
where do you draw the line there? What if you say lose a finger? Pop into work?
Depends. If you can't concentrate because it's painful.
But what if you're a typist?
Or
You're not going to
pianist?
type as many words, but you'll do more at work than you would having a day off at home.
Sure. Okay. Tony Blair turning trendy with his Paul Smith designed naked lady shirt. I don't know if you've seen this. It's the one with the pictures of naked ladies on the cuffs.
And, I mean...
Okay. And finally...
see, this is what annoys me about this feature. It's just, what's that? So what?
Yeah, but it's the Prime Minister of this country wearing a trendy shirt with naked ladies on the cuffs.
Alright.
Okay. And finally, what do you make of the fact that Top of the Pops have banned Will Young singing both tracks on the #1 slot, and consequently he wasn't on there at all? They had to show the video. The first time anyone's ever made this demand. He wants to sing both the A and B side.
Well, he can't.
It's double A, yeah.
Double A side.
That's what he wanted to.
That isn't how it works, is it?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And the thing is, which one... I mean, at the end of the day, loads of people have bought it, haven't they? Isn't it
Yes.
like one of the
Yes.
best? So it doesn't really matter what it does, because people have got it, they can listen to what song they want at home. Doesn't matter about what Top of the Pops do.
Yes.
And it's just annoyed me now. It's...
Who's annoyed you?
Just what goes on in the world. I'll tell you, you're better off not knowing. It's better being in my little world. If that's what people are talking about on the streets and asking the white van man, do you know what I mean?
I think you're right, Carl. I think you're right.
Jeez.
Shall I play a lovely song for you? Because you're getting all stressed now, aren't you?
I've not had a good day.
No, I know. We tell you about it later. It's not a good day. Well, I'm going to play a Neil Young track here of Harvest. It's Alabama. It's beautiful, and this is for Carl. Athlete, West Side. I still like that one.
It's a good track.
Yeah, I was worried it's a bit of novelty. It would go off very quickly, but it's good.
No,
Very
it's not
melodic.
bad at all.
On XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington, Steve.
Well, we were talking about the news just now, and there was a story I heard in the week. I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details. But what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
No, when it came back and Tony Blair met him and go, alright, well not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, if there was people shooting at us and everything that was all muddy, well calm down, don't cry. Well, I will.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, "Look at you, stupid boy! Where's this
he's
gun's
got
not
trained,
clean?" Well, I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun and it was fine, and now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he was
Well, he's
showing.
got to do that. It's more
His
discipline.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they,
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but
what you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to like the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand up and go, will it be horrible? I go, you at the back, yes. Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And they go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine. Yeah.
Should be fine. Yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
Exactly.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. So when was the Falklands? Was it about
81?
Right, and he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
Well, bad time to join. That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining, a month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?"
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined, and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to my brother, "Your mum, she's called up and asked if you can not go," which, of course, we'll see how it goes. But can you
What?
tell
What
her?
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
probably because he was new.
What?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know, maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go, no.
You can't do. But
that's ludicrous.
I love it. That we went over the top. Pilkington, I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay. No, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army. I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it's good. My mum says don't.
Yeah.
Go. Now, you didn't write this yourself.
No,
did you,
my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay.
You definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no, I see.
But were the other soldiers
wasn't
going
he?
around just going,
Pilkington.
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops
Yeah.
in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've made
Honest
that
to
up.
God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, go and let him up, and he goes, oh God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time. This
Wow.
is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was
Did
quite
your
young.
mum phone up and say, let him off? No,
Let him
court
off
martial
this
him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble in that. And the army, people slag it off, but I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straight him either. How did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank. He was shagging someone
No,
behind
but
their back.
it's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult, and he had a house, and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No,
Has he got the crystal?
don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
so I
so
haven't even spoken
it
to him.
always Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vet and have him put down? Because it's just too stressful. Hyde's main offender, XFM 104.9. Wow. It's that time in the show where I test Karl on his,
Homework.
yeah, for the week. History. The re-education of Karl Pilkington. As you know, we found out last week that he'd, taken one GCSE and he'd got an E, and it was history.
Do you know, Steve, I haven't told you this, went shopping on Sunday, buy some new jeans, was in a shop, saw an old lad who I hadn't seen for about 2.5 years, went, "You alright, mate, how you doing?" First thing he said, "Sorry to hear about your exam results."
God. Had he listened to the show, or someone had just told him?
Yeah, he was on a train listening to it on the way to a football match or something.
He knew that you were on the show, did he? He was a regular listener.
First thing he said,
Wow.
"So sorry about your exam results."
Haven't people have been coming up to you in the station going, "You alright,
alright?
do you want to talk about it, or?"
God.
I know.
Well, you did take it pretty badly for a 29-year-old man.
Just a bit of a shock, because it annoyed me that...
It wasn't a shock. You
No.
knew you hadn't got any.
No, I thought I'd have got a bit more than that. I wasn't expecting, you know...
But you didn't even think you took history, so that must have been a bonus.
Yeah, that's what my girlfriend said.
Yeah.
So, well,
But didn't
yes-
she say something quite philosophical, which was like, you know, you didn't even have a knee this morning?
Yeah, she said yesterday, you know, you didn't have anything
Yeah.
but today,
Exactly.
which was good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway, okay then, well, you were tested on, Che Guevara. Right, Karl.
We should hang on, we should just remind people what happened, because
This is a little
week we gave-
series. I've got lots of these little books, right? They're about, like, 2.5 inches long by about, 2 inches wide. There's tiny little things you see in the, sort of, on the front counter of Waterstones or Smiths, and it's, the Life and Times, a series of all the greats in history. Last week you read about Rasputin, you wasn't impressed.
no.
This
This
week,
book's a little bit thicker than the Rasputin one.
no, it's the same, I think, was it? Maybe the writing's
Thicker
smaller.
writing or something.
But, okay, Che Guevara. Who was Che Guevara? Just, now, you learnt to pronounce it, right? And how did you remember? You told me in the week how you remembered what his name was.
Che is like shake, and his surname is like guitar.
Right.
Shavara.
Okay.
But anyway, right.
Tell us what you know, and we'll ask.
Right. First of all, his name isn't really Che.
Right.
It was something else, and Che means buddy
Okay.
in wherever he's from, Argentina.
Okay.
Right. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So anyway, he was born, and he was
By the way, Carl's not reading this from a book now. This is all out of his own head.
This
Could I
is
just-
not pre-planned notes.
No, this is, I mean, I know
never
it
held
sounds written, but he's just
Yeah.
right.
riffing
Here
on
we
this.
go. Here we go.
Go on.
He was born. He had bad asthma as a kid,
Right.
which I thought was quite interesting because they didn't have cars and that back then, and that's what they're blaming asthma on these days. The bad build-up of traffic and that.
Well, they
So,
did have cars, Carl.
not as many as they have now.
Okay.
So that was something I picked up early
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the story.
He had asthma, yeah.
His dad was into he wasn't a politician or anything, but he was, they were into the politics.
Sure.
So he sort of grew up around a family who was into, watching the news and that and keeping up to date on
Yeah,
what's going on
yeah.
in the world. So that sort of rubbed off on him. He went to school. He was doing stuff on medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to be a doctor, or he thought he did.
Yep.
Anyway, he learned really quick. He did like 6 months work in about 3 months. So he could have some time off school or something.
Right.
So he took that time off
Yeah.
and went to travel South America with his mate
Okay.
on a motorbike.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he saw all this bad going on in the world, and he thought, oh, this is bad, this.
Yeah.
I could do something here. I could
Yeah.
change this, make it a nicer place to live. So he said, what I'm going to do is join a gang
Right.
that sort of is against the like the government.
Yep.
Right.
Right? Am I right so far?
Yeah.
You're doing very well.
Right, and the woman who he met, who was like running this gang, is a woman called Hilda, who he later married.
All right.
And Hilda introduced him to Castro,
Right.
who was like the head cheese of the gang,
Right.
who wanted to change things.
Okay.
And so she said, like, this is I think his real name was Engelbert or something like that.
Ernesto.
What?
Ernesto.
Ernesto. She said, this is Ernesto. He does medicine. Should have him in our sort of army. So
Yeah.
when there's injuries and that, he can make people better.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, all right then. So he joined the gang, and they went like went to sort of. I'm chopping it down a bit.
No.
Sure. You're condensing.
It's not in real time.
No.
So anyway, so they go.
It feels like it.
You see, this is why I just wanted you to ask me questions.
Well, listen, let's cut to the chase then. So,
Okay,
obviously he made his name as part of the Cuban Revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what date that was?
About. No, I don't.
Okay. And obviously, so he was a big involvement in that.
Yeah.
In which country was he caught?
It was caught in Bolivia.
Yeah. How did he die?
They executed him.
Yeah.
They shot him, and his last words before he died, right? The guy's there with the gun, and he wasn't scared. He wasn't like crying or anything. He said to the bloke with the gun, he said, "Go on, shoot me. Be a man."
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
and they shot him.
And did it tell you what happened to him after that? His dead body?
No, but Suzanne was telling me about this the other night. She said there's more to it than that. They stuck it in a glass coffin, didn't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
Well, no, but before that, they cut off his hands and his feet.
and sent them to the.
No, and because they buried him in different places, and then they buried the body. I think they might have sent the hands to Fidel, but they buried him in an unmarked grave because they didn't want anyone to start using his grave or his tomb as a place of martyrdom. But of course, that just made him even more of a martyr because no one knew where he was buried. So it just meant that he was
Yeah, but
even
that
more
wouldn't
of
work anyway, because if they did find out, that's more places people can go and sort of grieve. Do you know what I mean? If you've got all these different graves,
What, with different parts of his body?
well, you've got a foot over there, and it's like, well, you know, oh God.
His head over there.
Thanks for
Sure.
what you're doing.
Yeah. No,
So all in all,
essentially, what's your summary of Che?
yeah, you like him more than Rasputin, don't you?
A lot better bloke than Rasputin. I can understand why he gets one of those little books. Well worth knowing about, and good bloke. Did a lot, you know.
Crammed a lot into his short life.
Yeah. But, yeah, interesting bloke.
But just on the subject of Che Guevara, Steve called me up in the week because he was going through the duty log. We love the complaints on the BBC duty log, and someone had written in because one of the Blue Peter presenters was wearing a Che Guevara T-shirt. And what did the bloke say?
Yeah, this is a series of people can phone in and write and complain to the BBC about different things.
Why would you complain about wearing something?
Well, this was the thing. Is you can phone in, but the best one. I mean, there's been some amazing complaints.
Oh, there's some great ones.
The best one, my favourite one that wasn't a complaint, but was actually just someone had to phone in, was what an excellent edition of Kilroy this morning.
Yeah,
Which
but there's lots of that. There's things like Esther was superb. Woman call one.
Woman called. There was a brilliant one I remember once, which was Robbie Williams was wearing a Nike T-shirt on Top of the Pops last night. Product placement on the BBC.
It's just all
So
things like that.
pathetic.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was one phone call. There was a presenter on Blue Peter. She was wearing a T-shirt with Che Guevara's face on it,
Right.
and someone had written in and said, or someone had phoned in and said, very worried to see a presenter wearing Che Guevara's face on a T-shirt. Are you trying to turn my children into communist revolutionaries?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine who's thinking that. Who's bothering to phone up with that information, Carl?
Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to say about this show?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been championing the work of communist revolution.
Luckily, no one listening to this show can either write or operate a phone. So I think we're pretty safe. So thumbs up for Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Well done to Carl there.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
I did
brilliant.
alright, didn't I?
But the thing
Yeah,
is, Carl,
that-
you keep saying to us you don't understand why history's interesting, and yet you're clearly interested by that. You remembered that
Carl,
information.
I've got another.
Yeah.
I've got a few in the series. Can I give you your next week's homework?
Go on.
There you go.
Oh,
Read it out.
Hitler.
Hitler, the life and times of Hitler.
1889 to 1945.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know much about him?
What was the significance of that last date? Why did he? What was that last date, Carl? Why do you think he died in 1945?
End of the war.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested in. So this will have stuff about Anderson shelters and that.
It might not be covered in the Hitler biography, the Anderson Shelter, but
Just check if there's a special Anderson chapter. Anderson Shelter chapter.
Well, I'll look forward to this.
Yeah,
It'll be,
yeah.
be interesting.
Powdered Egg is page 4.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're going to play a hip hop.
Yeah, it's time for a hip hop hooray. People are absolutely in love with this feature, Rick, as you well know, and I know you're somewhat jealous of it.
Yeah.
This week, I know that Outkast are currently on the playlist, aren't they, with their new single "Whole of the World"? Is that
Yeah.
all? The whole world. Anyway, this is a track from the big compilation Outkast. It's just a sort of compilation of all their greatest hits, and this is a good one. It's called Rosa Parks. Play it, Carl. From their greatest hits album, that's Outkast, and a track called Rosa Parks.
Like it.
Yeah, enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Now, we just had a call from someone impressed by Carl, and Carl's very pleased because this guy has actually done a PhD on Che Guevara. So in theory, whatever subject he chose, in theory, he's probably one of the experts in the world on this particular field. Now, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's David.
David, now where did you do your PhD?
Did it at UCL.
Did it at UCL? My old college. And what was the actual title of the PhD?
It was Che Guevara's influence on class struggle in Europe in the 60s.
And what did you think of Karl's performance?
I thought he did really, really well. The only thing I'd never heard those last words before.
So Karl actually knows something you don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Although you presumably not take that as verified information. You probably wouldn't take everything Karl said as gospel. You'd probably look it up yourself, would you?
I probably would have a look, yeah.
Did you know about baby's eyes?
Sorry?
Did you know that baby's eyes don't grow?
I didn't know that.
You see, that's why you shouldn't take
Yeah.
things Karl says as gospel. Because it come out with something, vaguely intelligent, and then say, did you know about baby's eyes don't grow?
Any questions that you'd want to test Karl on? Any thoughts, anything he missed there on the history of Che Guevara?
I think he did really well, and I think he should be congratulated.
Because Karl has problems with understanding why people are interested in history, and even though he's been reading these books, he keeps saying, why does anyone care about history? Why is it important? What would you say to Karl?
I think he should maybe then look at who Che Guevara did influence and why he still influences people today.
Yeah. Well, he knows that he influenced Citizen Smith, and he knows that if McDonald's ever wanted to swap Ronald McDonald for Che Guevara, it would cost him an awful lot of money. So he is trying to apply it to the modern world. He is having a go.
Well, maybe you should think like why Rage Against the Machine have him on their T-shirts.
Good point, Karl. Why do you think of that? Why do you think they have him on the T-shirts, Karl?
I don't know. Maybe that was the design of the T-shirt. Maybe they wanted another T-shirt.
Maybe they wanted Ronald McDonald,
but didn't have any in.
Sure.
And they said, "Oh, we'll have that one there then."
Well, thanks very much, Dave. Just before you go, do you think Karl would be an interesting subject for a PhD?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're not.
Well, hopefully one day you'll become a professor and you can maybe set that as some coursework.
I could do, yeah.
Karl Pilkington. Imagine that.
Cheers, Dave.
Imagine having an MA in Karl Pilkington. Thanks very much, Dave.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.
That's good. My teachers never did that.
What encouraged you in that way?
Never said well done. So,
Really?
Yeah.
But you never showed up.
Yeah, you
but
have to be in the same room.
They were too
really.
busy saying, "Who are you?"
yeah.
No, but Mrs. Matthews, me head teacher.
Oh, let's not lay into Matthews again. She's always getting in the
not Matty
She
Matthews,
said
not
I'd never-
Grimble Matty Matthews.
I'd
we used to call
never
her.
be a high flyer.
If she could see you now. What did she say? You'll never be a high flyer.
She said that to me, mum and dad.
Really?
On a parents' evening.
And
that was after I'd played the drums in Little Donkey.
She clearly didn't know what she was talking about. With a pinch of salt.
REM with Orange Crush on XFM 104.9. Well, nearly through, only 20 minutes to go. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve and Karl. Karl, what did you point to me then?
Just reminded me.
Go on.
Orange Crush. Do you know we were talking the other night about contraceptives?
No, you said to me, I've got to do lots of homework. You look up how they used, in the olden days, how they used to use elephant dung as a contraceptive. And I went, what? And he went, no, look it up. You give me those things. I said, I don't know. Was it they put, when you're running around with dung on the end of your knob, no woman really wants to go near it. Is that how it worked? And he went, come on, you give me things to do.
If you've just written a PhD on how to use elephant dung as a contraceptive, please get in touch.
And I
I'll
found out
give the number in a minute.
It's not elephant, it was crocodile.
Oh, right.
Why?
But, yeah, Orange
Sorry,
Crush.
no, you can't. No, whoa.
What?
Back. What do you mean? It was crocodile dung. How did they use crocodile dung as a contraceptive?
I don't know.
Right, go on, Orange Crush, yeah.
So Orange Crush, what it was, I was trying to look up that thing about crocodile stuff, using it, and I came up with another one saying that they used to use a lemon, sort of shaped right, and the put it on, and the citric acid in it would kill the sperm.
Right.
So they would wear the lemon on the end of the knob.
Was that erotic?
It worked.
Listen, I'll try anything, Karl, mate. If that works.
yeah.
If the ladies like that. I mean, could it be anything? Could it be like, a melon?
Kumquat?
Yeah, maybe. In my case.
What's those hairy ones?
Yeah.
Anyway, it just reminded me when Orange Crush.
Well, thanks very much for that, Karl. It's, and that, I didn't even ask him to
No.
research that.
No.
He just...
So Orange Crush reminded you of the lemon contraceptive?
Mm.
Okay. Jolly good.
You could use it as a little lemon squeezer, couldn't you? It could be like a novelty lemon squeezer. You just stand in the kitchen, and then when someone wants to just come along and go on the end of your...
Did you make this lemonade yourself?
Yes, I did. It tastes funny. It tastes funny. Okay, yeah.
Would you, Carl, this is a quick question to you. Would you ever sort of find yourself in a situation where you might confuse a woman's breasts with mountains? Is that a concern for you, do you think?
No.
Not a problem for you?
Well, not if they're small and humble, I would.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what, fingers crossed.
If they were small and humble, then I'd pretty much not confuse them with mountains.
Thank God, but I mean, if they were large and sort of pendulous.
And with, like quite rocky with snow on top.
Exactly.
Then I'd go, hold on, love.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, love. I was into this, but now...
Exactly.
I feel like I'm alone.
Carl, do you know what we're talking about?
Who has done that?
I'll give you a clue. One more time. See, my breasts are small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains. Shakira. It's a lyric that
taking
me
the
and Steve are
nation
obsessed
by
with.
storm.
It's quite a nice song. It's got
It's very much like, it sounds a bit like Men at Work Down Under.
yeah, it's got the panpipes.
Is this, what's its kid?
Who?
Julio Iglesias.
No, it's Shakira. Consequently, the word Shakira there being mentioned.
I haven't heard of him.
Okay. She's a big Latin star, apparently, big Latin American star. And, anyway, just sing it again for us.
See, my breasts are small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains. Which is a concern. It was always a concern.
Definitely.
A number of times she's woken up, and there's been a fat bloke with a beard and a little Sherpa. She goes, "What are you doing?" And they go, "We're just trying to climb this Look again. Oh, sorry, love.
Oh, it's your tits. I didn't realise.
Oh, your tits. We thought we were in...
I can't believe it.
I can't... Well, can we camp here? You can't camp on my tits for the night. No.
Well, why are you climbing them?
Well, I just
Because
got
they were there.
confused. Well, they're small and humble. What are you, mental? Look at Carl. I love that look at Carl. Carl is looking back and forth. You know when you sort of, you go to a cat and it looks back and forth between two people? That's very much like Carl's looking at us now.
Or when, like, a child sees a midget or something in the street. They're just transfixed, aren't they? And the parents don't stare.
When we were pushing Ash, yesterday, our producer's in a wheelchair, and we were pushing him through the
He's not a
VC.
midget, we should make
No,
that
he's not a little midget. He's not tall. But we were pushing him through the VC, and this little kid just came up and just stood in front of him and looked at him.
Yeah.
I just laughed.
It was funny. Do you do that? I imagine that you get caught staring at them.
Yeah, do you go up to people with problems and go, "Mummy, is that a monster?"
Well, I was telling you one about when I used to go with my dad in the taxi.
Oh, yeah,
What
tell us
happened?
this story.
Well,
Your father was a taxi driver?
my dad he had loads of jobs, which he did back then, and they don't do that anymore, do they, people? They don't sort
Have
of do
variety of
loads
jobs?
stuff.
Sure.
But at one point, he had a black cab, and I used to go with him. He used to get a beer crate and put it in the front of the black cab, and sort of sit just next to the
Comfortable.
meter. And anyway, we got this call, and like the guy on the end of the radio said, "Oh, you've got your son with you, haven't you?" So he said, "Yeah." So it's just like, we've got to pick up at number 11 Village Lane or whatever. And he said, "Oh, all right." And it was this woman. It was like a woman version of the Elephant Man.
Wow. The Elephant Woman.
Yeah, it looked like... it was really strange, because I was in the front of the cab, and when you're a kid, if something looks odd, you're a bit scared of it, aren't you?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Look, it'll be all right." And we're driving towards her.
Look, don't worry, son, I've got loads of buns.
And just to
I think
give
I'll
you-
just throw one down the street if you run after
You're
it.
being mean, right?
I am a little bit,
So
yeah.
how old were you, 18?
No, I was about 12 or
Sure.
something like that. 11, 12. And as we got closer to her, it looked like she was holding like a bag of spuds on her shoulder,
For a snack.
Right.
and her head was all a bit mangled and messy and that. And my dad said, "Whatever you do, don't stare at her face."
Yeah.
And she got in the
Because you
back.
turn into stone.
She got in the back, and I had like the mirror, the driver's mirror thing, and sort of having a look, trying to work out. And he said, "Don't stare at her face." I couldn't work out where her face was. It was that weird.
Oh, God.
So I'm not sure you're from Manchester. I think you're from, like, Narnia or something.
Yeah, you got frog boys walking around.
the Lord
with
of the Rings.
That got, like, the claws of a lobster and the head of a toad.
Yeah.
And you got women getting in with spuds for heads. I mean, what
This is
sort
not
of, what
Manchester.
is
This is not the place you
place?
grew up. This
Yeah.
is mad.
Oh, you can't believe it in London, can you? You come down and you go, look, symmetry. It must be amazing.
It must be a thing to do with upbringing, though, mustn't it? And because again, do you know, I've said to you before, years ago when I was a kid and didn't have any worries, good-looking lad. You go through it a bit, have a few more worries, and you look knackered. Now, back there's a lot more worries and stuff, so you get a lot more freaks. Whereas in London, everyone's like happy, aren't they?
I love the fact that stress can cause your fingers to fuse and your heads to grow.
No, but if
She must have been really stressed to have a head.
Yeah. She was she an accountant or something?
You know what I mean?
But what did she do? What did she say?
Where was she going, by the way?
She couldn't speak.
London Zoo, please.
I think she was going to like
to
a
the
pet
fair.
shop. Seriously, honest to God. On my mum's life, she was. Because at the end of the day, that's a good thing with animals. They don't judge you, do they?
She's not
She
an
was an
animal.
animal. She's a human being.
She's not actually an elephant.
No, but
You know the elephant man was not actually an elephant. Do you understand that? He's got no elephant genes in him at all.
No.
That was just a cruel name people gave him.
Yeah.
No, it's the name of the disease, isn't it? Elephantitis.
Look, so listen. So this woman, why was she going to a pet shop?
She was going to a pet shop. What, to find a husband?
Is this true?
No, it is true, yeah.
Oh,
But
God.
I'm not taking the mickey, because it must be really bad for
Of
you.
course it
But
is.
Carl, I
we
need to
haven't.
ask.
I'm going on to you today about cutting myself shaving.
Yeah.
I was going on about that. To think that she's probably not alive now. But to think,
But you're saying that you're going to say this is a worse problem than a little cut shaving, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
The
think
things
you're right.
that
Carl,
you worry
there's a
about.
couple of key questions I need to ask. One, if she couldn't talk,
Yeah.
how did she tell your father where to drive it? Did she have it
Probably
written
got
on a
some
note?
help
Did
for
she
that,
point
haven't
with her nose?
Yeah.
you? Right, this has got silly. Pick your song.
But also, finally, where did you say she lived again?
It was like in a village. A little small village.
Right.
Just hidden out of the way.
All I'm saying is we could maybe get like some sort of coach, book some coaches, get a coach party up there to have a look at her. Take some photos.
And now
You can make some lemonade.
the offspring of a woman and some spuds. Please enter at your peril. Give me a shiny shilling.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of Teenage Fan Club song for the lovers here. We left it very late. We've been just, rapping with Karl P here, and this is I Need Direction. Teenage Fan Club. Oh, they're a good band,
They
aren't
are a good band.
XFM 104.9. We're nearly there. So will your girlfriend be proud of you now? You performed a PhD graduate
It's a bit
there,
annoying because she's not in London today. She's in Sunderland or something, or Newcastle,
right?
working.
So she won't know what your greatest triumph. She saw last week's and you got an E in history, and now this week you come through
Yeah.
with some great praise that Mrs. Matthews never, laid upon
Even
you, did
looked
she?
at. Well,
No, just said you won't be a high flyer. Eh? You've shown them, haven't you?
you never know. I mean, I had mates who, my mate Colin Makin, who
Sure.
did the disco with me.
Pilkington's making music, yeah.
Pilkey's making music.
Yeah.
He was dead brainy. I don't think he's up to much these days.
Sure.
You
Just-
can't plan it.
Yeah.
Just goes to show.
Well, I mean, you can do there's a certain amount of planning you can do. I mean, driving a tank down to the shops with some fags,
Yeah.
never going to mean you're a high flyer. You know?
And that woman who you picked up in your black cab, she's in a circus now and she
Yeah,
can
happy.
fly, which is good. Am I confusing that with a film? You went to see a film this week, didn't you?
Mm.
What did you
did you
see?
The Monsters Inc.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
have a little argument? What was the argument about? Did you have an argument with your girlfriend or something? Because about
Well, the history thing took over last weekend, to be honest, when you found out my results. That was like the talking topic of most of the weekend. And,
why? What did she say?
you brought it on yourself. Why didn't you take it serious?
Was she annoyed or upset?
Well, she just sort of said, you can learn. Look, you learned Rasputin.
Mm.
If only you did
You've
that at
done
school.
that. You've done
Do you know what I
Rasputin.
mean? She said, you can do it if you're told to. She said, it's only because Ricky's told you to read the book that you're reading it.
Does she think we're sort of like taskmasters?
Does she think we bully you?
Nah, she knows it's just a laugh.
Yeah. What did you tell your parents about your?
No,
No. Never.
because they never even questioned where my results were, so I don't want to tell them that, I didn't get any.
No. How did they do it at school?
Didn't have them back then, did they?
Right. When was that, Carl? The Middle Ages.
Middle Ages.
I don't know. Like I say, back then it wasn't about getting results and that, was it? It was just about learning trades. I mean, my dad, right? He can put windows in his house,
Yeah.
do plumbing.
He should. It's dark, isn't it? He's done that first of all. Right.
So he can do what? He's got a multitude of different
Yeah,
jobs.
he can do all sorts. Do you know what I mean? If there's a problem in my flat, I can call him up and say, this isn't working. What should I do? And he'll say
Is that our brain surgeon?
he'll say, "Oh, fix it."
Sure. So what about Monsters Inc? What
Yeah.
did you make of it?
It's alright. It is a kids' film. It sort of annoying.
Is it?
Okay.
I was having like.
What gave that away? Do you think? Was it the songs? Was it the animation?
Yeah, the fluffy little things that squiggled round on the screen for an hour and a half.
It is annoying because like there's kids everywhere and kids don't watch films, do they?
No.
Do you know what I mean? They're messing.
I don't know why they make kids films.
And you
to
can't-
be honest, it's mental.
Can't concentrate properly when you've got kids, you know,
Screaming,
making
shouting.
noise around you and that.
Yeah.
So I'd say my little review: wait until it comes out on DVD.
Okay.
What a great review that would be! Wouldn't that be great? Film 2002.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ross going, well, I don't want to give it away. Wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but not giving it away. It's just that you can't watch it properly when there's kids screaming around you.
Yeah.
sure.
Do you know what I mean?
What are you looking forward to this week? You going to go and see anything?
Just been talking to Ricky now because my missus is away. I'll probably get out a DVD tonight.
Yep.
Rounders.
Oh, right, okay.
I thought you might like that.
And
It's
if you
like
can
gambling
get,
and
but I
stuff.
mean, if I can get you tickets, say in the stalls or in a box for the stage version of Midnight Express, would you be up for that?
it's on ice.
'Cause I think it's the final year, isn't
It's
it?
lovely. It's Midnight Express on ice.
Yeah.
And it's a musical as well.
They're on roller
Do
skates.
you have any dope under your jacket? No.
Yeah. It
And
is well worth
it's,
hunting out.
it's great. John Hurt is actually in this version as well, which is fantastic.
It is
He played
brilliant.
the Elephant Man. So the universe all comes together.
Have you ever seen the stage version of The Elephant Man?
No.
You'd love that.
Yeah.
Who's in that? I have seen a clip of it. Who plays him?
I think they got a real guy with elephantitis.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you finishing on?
Let's have a final song for the ladies. It's from the album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure, and it's The Beautiful Catch. See you next
Goodbye.
week.
See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye. This is Strokes, and last night we just had a call, didn't we, from Johnny Mango.
Oh yeah,
Just
Johnny
been-
Mango, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, old the Mankster. And he informed me that one of the Wurzels is dead, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, Adge Cutler, who was the lead man, I think.
Yeah, he said he died the most rock and roll death you can die. He said he was apparently driving on a terrible cocktail of cider and other things, presumably.
Yeah.
Apples and jams.
Yeah.
And he crashed into a tractor. Now, I wonder, is that true? JM's not winding me up.
Yeah,
I
don't-
hope the Mango Boy's not having a laugh at me. Is that true? One of the Wurzels died by tractor. Did he? Is that true? So give us a call. What's
If
the
you
number
know.
again, Carl?
Oh, 800 800 1234.
If so, I'm sorry that I disrespected them. I didn't know.
Could you imagine
Oh God.
if, right, say if like you're the driver of the tractor
Mm.
and you kill someone, you go, oh God, I've killed someone,
Mm.
and then you look and it's someone famous.
Yeah, or Adge Cutler. Yeah, go on, what was your point?
No, it's just like not
Terrifying,
only
yeah.
it's like you've killed someone, then you look.
But
I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean,
And
actually.
what
That
makes
is-
it even
that is
worse? And
terrifying.
what makes it even worse? They were rich.
Yeah.
Oh, that
no,
would
but
be.
say if it was someone who's like really big in the world.
No, that is I quite like that. It's an interesting point,
Oh,
that.
that's your bag. No wonder I can't find what I'm looking for.
Oh, right, well,
As Bono said.
did you bring a bag?
Yeah. Sorry,
Is that under there, Rick?
sorry about this. I'm not
Play a record.
ignoring.
This is getting a bit sloppy here.
No, it's not. No,
No, it is, Rick. It's getting
Is it?
sloppy.
It's never got sloppy before. No, I've got a list here because we went to this award ceremony in the week. We were up for an award.
Well,
yeah.
I have to explain it to Carl, because basically we were up for an award, and it's called it's the Trick Awards. Now, Trick stands for Television and Radio Industries Club Annual Awards, right?
We'd
It's
never heard of it either.
We'd never heard of it. It's some kind of, like, television radio industry club. That's why.
Yeah, that's the
Television
clue,
radio,
isn't it? Yeah.
So, but we don't want to. I'm not trying to slag off the award
No.
because it was, you know, it was a big thing, and they really made an effort, and it was really nice. Food was brilliant. It was at the Grosvenor House Hotel, really nice do, and you know, lots of industry people in that there. It was really classy.
We got there nice and early, so you know
Yeah.
we were there for a good 4 hours
Before
which
we
was
had
fun.
to sit down, and but it was just kind of surreal. It was just a bit weird because it was packed with the cream. I'm literally the cream, big names. You know, Martin Kemp, one of the first people I saw. You know, came in like big TV, radio industry names, on-screen talent, behind-the-scenes people.
John Barnes,
Barnes was there.
Beadle was there.
Sir Cliff Richard was there.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so the voice comes on and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the
President.
the president of the Trick Awards." And we had to stand up. All of these people had to stand up and give a standing ovation as he walked to his table to Tom O'Connor, former presenter of Crosswits.
You are joking.
No.
He's the president.
And he came out, he told a few gags, sort of like, it was like, straight away, it was, you know, old school stuff. You know, I'd like to thank the ladies, because, you know, it was nothing without the ladies, all the lovely ladies here. And we went for a joke, No. just thanking the ladies.
Well, you're forgetting that just prior to that, he said grace.
Oh, he said grace.
Before we
right?
ate.
It was me, Steve, and Ash, you know, our producer, the little, disabled fella, right? And he's there in his wheelchair, and there's me and Steve. We're standing up during
By the way,
grace.
can I just stop you there?
Go on.
Saw someone in the week, and,
Sorry, did we bore you?
you just reminded me then about the
Go on.
little producer who's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Last week you said, blah, 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 and our producer who's in a wheelchair got a text from someone saying, what's happened to you? They thought you were talking about me.
Oh, really?
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh.
You're handicapped in a different way.
So go on.
And, Tom O'Connor, he said, thank you, God, for...
We thought this was a joke initially. We thought it was going to be like a kind of cheeky gag.
That's why we were laughing out loud.
That's why we were laughing raucously.
But anyway, and then he went, thank you, God, for this, and help those who walk alone. And Ash went, what about those that don't walk at all? He said, I've never been left out of grace before.
So, but we had to like, kind of like bowed our heads slightly, you know, and did we say amen? I know that we were sort of, a lot of people did.
I'm pretty sure
Cliff,
I
I think, probably chimed in there.
Yeah.
And,
He sang it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Like Mariah Carey.
so anyway, but before, again, you see, what Ricky's forgotten is before Tom took to the stage, this guy walks up there, I don't know who he is, says, there's a lot of people here this afternoon, you know, it's a wonderful event, but of course there's a load of celebrities as well.
He said, thank you for all the celebrities that have turned up. And then he went, table 77. Mr. Russ Abbott. And we all round of applause. Can we have the spotlight there?
Russ Abbott, by the way, smoking a pipe. Actually, he looked like, a bit like, Barrett Holmes, his hilarious Sherlock Holmes character.
Then he went, table 107. The cast of Bad Girls. Clap.
We'll have to clap.
And then he went, table 5, Alice Beer. Clap.
Slightly smaller clapping.
Yeah. And it's just like, and I thought, when is this gonna...
He went through every single celebrity in the room.
And there were about, 100.
Table 53, John Inman, everyone. It's John Inman. Round of applause.
Yeah, and, table 70, Mr. Simon Cowell. Boo.
Yeah, there was booing there.
And
yeah.
they all booed him.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was a joke. Ironic booing, I think.
Did they cheer for Foxy? Was he on the table?
We didn't see
Foxy.
Foxy.
Wasn't there. He was doing his show. When they went up, they won an award, Cowell and, Waterman and Chapman.
Table 43, Peter Sissons, everyone. Peter Sissons. Went through every single name. Ricky got so paranoid they might mention him that we kind of legged it upstairs and were watching from the balconies. They shone the spotlight on our table. and it was largely empty. That was particularly fun. But, then at the end, Sir Cliff got up there, right, because Sir Cliff was giving out the Lifetime Achievement Award, right, he gets up, he used to speak, he goes, this is a personal friend of mine, a 7 days a week friend, Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Mrs. Gloria Hunniford. Right, we immediately start thinking what exactly were her lifetime achievements.
I think living that long.
That's pretty much it. I don't know what it is she's done,
I can
Gloria
tell you
Hunniford.
what she does.
I don't exactly, I know she used to have a Radio 2 show, I don't think that's
We're
on
not dissing
anymore.
her, we're not dissing
No,
anyone.
good luck
We're
to
not taking the mick out of anyone, but,
But anyway,
it was
she-
just a strange event.
But Gloria got taken unawares by this and started to ad-lib a speech, right? And I swear to God, about 12 minutes in, she was telling us how, and I can tell you now if you're interested, her lovely daughter Karen is currently in Australia, it's partly work, it's partly a holiday, Carl, and she's having a whale of a time, but she's not spoken to her for ages.
And then she went, actually she's been there for a long time.
Yeah,
and it's like, I was thought she was going to go, she doesn't call, you
Yeah.
do that, you get a blue Peter, and this is how she
We thought she was going to get photos out maybe, start showing it.
No, but it was a nice
bizarre.
event, and, everyone there, Henry Cooper was there, so Henry
It
Cooper.
was so good because every single element as well was sponsored by someone.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the menu, I've got the programme here, and the menu, right, the pudding is sponsored by Electrolux.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had a pudding sponsored by
Yeah.
Electrolux.
I was sponsored by Zanussi.
When everyone was doing the prayers, did you look at them with their eyes shut? like you did at school?
What do you mean?
Well, when you had
Did you look at someone with your eyes shut?
No, like you'd do that. You'd do your hands together,
Yeah.
and you sort of look at people with their eyes shut and think that's what they look like when they're sleeping.
Play record.
Didn't you ever do that?
Table 60. Lisa Tarbuck. That's corner shop. Lessons learned from Rocky 1 to Rocky. I love that guitar. That's great. It's real glam rock. That's T-Rex and Bowie. I was gonna play something from Ziggy Stardust today, but instead I brought in a different album. I want to play a bit of Bowie. Is that alright?
Oh, of course, yeah, always,
Yeah,
always.
bit of Beatles. Still to come up, by the way. We with the education of Carl. Last week he did Che Guevara. He did very well. Before that, the week before that, you learned all about Rasputin, didn't you? And this week you've been studying Hitler, haven't you? How does that go? How do you reckon that?
It's a bit tough.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give you the full story later, Steve. Do you know much about him?
No.
So, they're all linked. All these stories I've been reading, they've all got a similar sort of thing going through them. They're born, they have a bit of a tough upbringing. Things aren't going well, and they seem to take it out on other people.
Okay.
Right, I'll tell you more later.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, I don't think Hitler and Che Guevara.
It's the same thing. Che Guevara, when he was a kid, had like asthma. Right? He wasn't an happy kid. Hitler, he
only had one ball.
Well, I was trying to find about that.
Yeah, seriously, he phoned me up in the week. I said, "How's it going?" He went, "I've skimmed it. I've just skimmed it. I was looking for the testicle thing. Now I don't know if they left that out or it's not true."
Right.
So he was trying to look up that Hitler has only got one ball.
I think they only did it to wind him up. Because it's like, you know, you might be taking over the world, but we're all saying you've only got one testicle.
Sure.
And it's
so did you look in the index and it's sort of Hitler, Adolf, family life, early childhood, testicles? Testicles, absence of.
Sort of skimmed through, because...
One of. Mother, brackets other.
Yeah.
Albert Hall.
Yeah.
The only thing I could find was at one point in like, when he was trying to run the place, there was a meeting going on, and somebody had put a bag in the meeting room and it blew up.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
the
wondering
table
whether it was under the
protected
table. Yeah, but...
What, you're wondering if it blew a testicle?
It was, the testicle was under the table.
No, the bag blew off the ball.
No, the ball sack was probably hanging below the, protective top, and so that's where he could have lost.
But why would he have only just lost the one?
Because
the way he was sitting.
Cross-legged or something. Sure, okay. Well, I mean, again, last week we had a Che Guevara expert phoned up. Maybe they could, maybe there's a Hitler expert this time who could maybe phone up and confirm the testicle theory.
Yeah.
What's the number again, Carl?
Oh wait, 700, 800, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You need to have at least done a PhD or something.
I don't think we should invite calls about Hitler. I think we're asking for trouble.
No, like someone who's done a study of him and who's done a PhD.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about any old nutter.
And also, Carl's lottery numbers. He's a little bit more confident this week.
Okay, good.
He went there more like it, and I looked at him and I laughed. He went, no, even Suzanne said I'm on more on the right lines there. Is anyone who, has done a degree in maths or A-level maths that can bear, Carl won't believe this, right? Carl thinks, I know I was partly doing it to confuse him, just see that look on his face like a cat, right? But there is the chances with random numbers, for example the lottery, of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are no greater than any other single combination.
Right.
Now that's true. I don't mean you're more likely to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 than any other combination put together, but than any other individual combination, they're all equal. It's counterintuitive, I know. I know you think that to get a run of 1 to 6 is less likely than anything else, but it's not. Any named combination... It's not, Carl. If there's a probability...
Well, it's never happened. Yeah, it's never happened.
Yeah, but there's any number of combinations that have
never happened. Every one of those combinations that have come up have happened, and they're just as likely or unlikely as any other combination, right? It's just that you feel intuitively, right, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is less likely than 1, 7, 12, 34, 60. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't win.
Play record.
Okay.
Wu-Tang Clan, Uzi, on XFM 104.9. Well, here we are, the day before St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, hooray! Brilliant!
Guinness, etc.
I hate English people, I should say, who are obsessed with celebrating St. Patrick's Day. You know, all crazy. It's like Chris Evans used to rave on about it. We're going to Dublin, we're going to get drunk, wow. It's like, it means nothing to
I think
English
XFM
people,
just did that, to be honest.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just as bad.
Careful, they are employers. You don't want to annoy them. What would we do without this?
Well, that's true. Yeah, have an enjoyable Saturday.
No, this is my favourite 2 hours. You like this, don't you?
Well, I don't know.
We can't do this through May and June.
No, we'll be gone.
We've got to record the second series of The Office. What are we going to do, Carl? What are you going to do on a Saturday?
Host the show yourself?
Doing it on my own.
Yeah.
You are not.
Are you seriously thinking of it? Have they asked you to
made
do
you
it?
everything you...
Why would you not think about it?
Because I've been there, done that.
Next challenge, please!
Oh dear. Do you know what St. Patrick did? Why he was revered as a saint and everything? What was he famous for in Ireland? He rid Ireland of something.
I don't know, but I bet he started off with something odd happening in his life.
What, you think he had asthma or something as a kid?
They all do.
And he took it out on what, though?
What did he do? Exactly, he took it out on something. What did he do? What did he rid Ireland of?
St. Patrick.
St. Patrick.
This is why we're going to get crazy and drunk tomorrow. This is why we're also happy to celebrate his anniversary, or whatever it is we're celebrating. This is
that's why we have a crack.
Yeah, this is why we don't bother to celebrate, the birthdays of James Joyce, one of the great novelists of this century, or Samuel Beckett, one of the great playwrights. We actually celebrate this man, St. Patrick, the man who did what?
Don't diss him. He did a good job of it as well, because there's none there now. There are none of these in Ireland. So, he rid Ireland of something.
Come on, Carl. Think of something. Just give us an answer.
He went round on a horse whacking them and...
He went on a horse whacking them.
Yeah.
What was it, Carl?
What did he rid Ireland of?
Went on a horse. Foxes. I don't know.
No, you're on the right lines.
On the right lines. It was an animal.
Oh. Bears.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was bears.
Wow! It was snakes.
Right.
And there are no snakes in
He
Ireland.
rid Ireland of all the snakes.
Yeah.
Who did it here then? Because there isn't that many.
Well, I think he had a stab at it over here as well, but got tired and went back.
Yeah.
That's why there's just a few snakes here.
Is
Is it true that there are no snakes in Ireland?
I think it is. I think if someone called us...
And what is there any historical evidence for St. Patrick ridding them of... I mean, how did he do it? Was it like the Pied Piper?
See, I'm not convinced that he did go around killing snakes, but there are no snakes in Ireland, and that's... Yeah. I don't know the ins and outs. If someone knows the ins and outs, we had a few probability experts and statisticians and maths graduates confirming that indeed I was correct, that the probability of 1 to 6 in a row is no more or less likely than any other single combination in a totally random selection of balls. Which brings us back to Hitler, doesn't it? Because he only had one, didn't he?
Well,
Coming up, we'll be asking Karl all about Hitler, the education of Karl. He's done Rasputin, he's done Che Guevara.
Plus, of course, White Van Carl, where we asked Carl some of the, his opinions on some of the hot potatoes of the week.
You learned as you go along, because you've got something about St. Patrick there. That was thrown in for free. That was an extra...
I'll learn you something here. Snakes.
Well, sorry, can I just stop you there, and I'll teach you something, right?
Oh, go on then.
You don't learn someone something, you teach them something.
Yeah.
It's not, one's passive. You learn...
Ricky, I'm sorry, mate, but I don't think you should be teaching people how to speak or use grammar. I just don't think it's appropriate. It's embarrassing, frankly. Because there's so many errors that you're making. It's like, where to start with you?
Oh.
Snakes, right? You're talking about snakes?
Yeah.
A lot of snakes are born with 2 heads. It's like a familiar type thing that happens to snakes.
Okay. Yeah. They take it for granted, don't they?
Right. Snakes born 2 heads, they'll fight each other for food, even though it's going in the same body.
Isn't that weird?
Were there kids at school that you went who had 2 heads?
The snake twins from Moseley.
Oh, there was kids at your school with 2 heads, was that right? What?
No, they had big heads.
Oh, they had big heads.
And webbed hands, but they weren't related. And they weren't friends, because that would have been too obvious, he said.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, listen, before you came in, right, I sneezed a couple of times, so if I'm allergic to them, I've still got a bit of a cold. And I said, oh God, he went, bloody hell, I was like, sorry. And he went, you know you can't sneeze with your eyes open. I went, yeah. And then he was obviously thinking to himself still, and after a pause he went, would your eyes really fly out? And I started laughing. He went, no, because has anyone ever done that, do you think? Has anyone ever held someone down, torturing them, and held their eyelids open and gave them pepper and see if their eyes would fly out? And he said, and then he went, I'm just looking at him again, the silence, then he went, of his own accord, he just went, I can't see it happening.
Your song here, Ricky.
Oh, this, Bowie. Sorrow. Beautiful. Sorrow by David Bowie. I got that on a compilation today, but I think it's originally off the Pin-Ups album, the one we did all the covers, because he didn't write that, did he? That was the one with him and Twiggy on the front cover, isn't it?
Right.
I haven't had that for ages. I haven't got that. So.
Sorry, you lost me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you reading a book there?
No, I was just reading the brochure there, the programme, if you will, for the Television and Radio Industries Club Awards that we went to. Incidentally, we lost.
We lost to Linda Green.
Yeah, we didn't win an award.
The best comedy.
But you might be interested to know that Tom O'Connor is in constant demand for corporate functions both here and abroad, and his client list includes many multinational companies. No mean golfer, Tom took the literary world by surprise in 1992 when his first humorous golf book, From the Wood to the Tees, made the bestseller list. I noticed it didn't take the literary world by storm.
No.
It took it by surprise.
They're going, we can't say storm. We've got to say by surprise, from behind.
But his first humorous golf book, From the Wood to the Tees, made the bestseller list. I don't know if that's just books about golf, that bestseller list. Subsequent successful books include One Flew Over the Clubhouse.
Brilliant. Genius.
Take a Funny Turn. Follow Me, I'm Right Behind You. And Eat Like a Horse, Drink Like a Fish.
Does it mention Celebrity Squares? Didn't he do that?
No.
He did,
Crosswits.
name that tune.
Well, that's right. It's
Crosswords. Do you remember Crosswords?
It was from the 80s.
It was like a crossword game show.
It was often with Kate Copstick, but I saw one, right. It was on Challenge TV being repeated. And no, Andy Crane. Remember Andy Crane?
Yeah.
He was the link man, and he went, coming up next, Tom O'Connor with Crosswits with well, in my opinion, one of the best Crosswits players of all time, John Junkin.
Oh. Who's your favourite Crosswits player?
It's got to be Junkin for me as well. But Copstick was
Barry
alright.
Cryer's bloody good.
Cryer was good. I watched Call My Bluff in the week.
Is this with Toxic and
yeah,
Colin?
it was quite good. I quite
I
enjoyed
imagine
it.
you could get on there if you
I
wanted.
used to watch it with what's his name? Famer.
Yeah.
Famer. Yeah. Oh, that was great.
You're
impression.
brilliant impressions, because obviously while Bowie was playing, you were doing your infamous Bowie impression, which is the best one you do, actually.
Well, that's just because Carl said, you know what, he said, I'd love to go out for a drink with David Bowie. Of all the people that come in here for sessions, I think he's really good at him. And I said, I think he'd like you as well. That's all, and I just went, hello, Carl. You're strange, you're alien. It interests me. Myself and Ian, I'd like to put you on them. Yeah, I just imagine you and Bowie in a pub somewhere.
Isn't that pretty much the same impression you do when you do Ian Canfield?
No. Ian Canfield's more like that. But not on air. On air, he's sort of like this sort of eloquent 40-year-old capital DJ.
Yeah.
And,
But when you talk to him in the studio,
he's
like the
slowly
rock
turning.
legend.
He's slowly turning into Tommy Vance, isn't he?
Mm.
This is one of his pillars of rock. Canfield. He loves Vance, Lemmy, Diano.
If we run out of material later in the show, which is likely,
Yeah.
considering we're now talking about Ian
We ran
Canfield's
out of it at 1:05.
Exactly. But could I maybe just sort of interview you as David Bowie?
Yeah,
in a
that
sort
would-
of humorous sketch.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Maybe it could be the idea that what if like David Bowie was a cab driver? What would he say? What was some of the funny things he would say?
We saw that, what was that in when it said, Dead Ringers coming up? If you've ever wondered what, it
Did
would
you
sound
see
like...
this? Dead Ringers is this impressionist show. They did it's on Radio 4 and they did a TV version.
Yeah, I saw it.
What did you make of it?
Didn't like it.
It was alright, no, it was just that the write-up in,
Radio
one
Times, I
magazine,
think it
the
was.
Radio Times, said, ever wondered what it'd be like if, Robbie Williams was singing George Formby? Or, what would it be like if, there was an
I think
animal
it
hospital
was hosted by Anne Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually I have wondered. Were those two sketches on there last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were they like?
You are the weakest.
You are the weakest dog
skink.
or something?
No, what was it? It was something like they had to vote off an animal to die or something. It was something like that. Yeah, it was.
This is
all right.
flagging. Quick, do your Bowie again.
Oh, come in here. Look, it's Tin Machine. Now let's play changes. Hello, Iggy Pop, you nutter. Stop cutting your sound. Travis, Flowers in the Window on XFM 104.9. 2 o'clock, halfway through. Oh, it's our favourite time, isn't it? My favourite time of the week where we come in here and play some records, have a chat.
Ricky, a lot of people are wondering who you are.
I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hi.
There's little Carl over there. Steve, it's time for...
White Van Carl. We should definitely get some jingles. I think the show sort of lacks jingles, I think.
Yeah.
Noises.
Yeah.
Funny sound effects.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Wow. Yeah. What's
Go on.
Mr. Nosy Neighbour interested in? Hello? What's going on here? Oh, we should definitely get some pre-recorded comedy noises, Carl,
Yeah.
for next
yeah, well,
week.
that's my job, but unfortunately I'm busy reading about Hitler.
For those that don't know and aren't familiar with this feature, basically The Sun runs a White Van Man column where it asks just people who, every men and women, their views on news stories from the week, and we decided we'd just ask Carl his opinion on some of the same issues. This week...
Not like us to rip off another idea and just use it for our own...
No.
No, but this time...
The White Van Man in the Sun this week is Herbie Crossman from Harrow in Middlesex.
Herbie.
And he's asked his opinion, Carl, and what's yours, on pop idol Will Young admitting he is gay. Come on, Carl.
I don't understand what the big deal is, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
Talking to different people about it, and they've said, oh, it could affect the sales, girls won't like him anymore, which I think is rubbish.
Yeah, because it finished George Michael's career, didn't it?
Well, yeah, and I was thinking when I was growing up, right,
And Freddie Mercury.
I was into Kim Wilde, right?
Sure.
Now,
And her kids.
You're not going
in
to tell me
America.
she's gay, are you?
no, but if she was, if they said, oh, she's you know, a leser,
Yeah.
right, I wouldn't say, right, that's it, I'm taking kids in America back to the shop, I'm disgusted.
Sure.
I liked her.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to, like, meet her and marry her and that, so what does it matter?
Yeah.
Will Young, he's a good voice, he's gay, you know, a lot of gay people in the world.
Georgie boy was gay, I guess.
There you go.
Nothing more and nothing less. The kindest guy I ever knew.
So
Do
no
your
bi-
Bowie.
No big deal.
That's one of your favourite songs, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Kidding of Georgie Parts 1 and 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you make of the police protesting to Parliament over reforms?
That's not the band. Before you say.
Right, what's all that about?
Okay, well, the police have had various kind of gripes and grumbles which they've taken to Parliament, try and get them sorted.
Like what?
Well, it could take ages, basically.
They don't like the
It's
pointy
going
helmets anymore.
Yeah.
They want flat caps.
They feel that their powers are restricted. They get a lot of bad press. They're not being paid well. They're under resourced.
They actually demonstrated, didn't they, outside?
I think they may have done, yeah.
It was
Well, at least they're doing something about it instead of just sitting there moaning. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
They're going to the top, trying to sort it out.
Yeah.
I admire that.
Yep.
What do you make of the police generally? Are they doing a good job?
They've woke me up a couple of times at about 4 in the morning when I was a kid.
Right, was that because they were looking
right.
for your brother in his tank?
Yeah! Did a Sherman tank just come through here?
Yeah.
No, my mates nicked cars and gave my name and all that.
Right. Were they friends of yours? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you make of fears that dumped Britney Spears, she's been dumped by her boyfriend, there's worries that she may be cracking up, Carl? concerned?
What are the signs?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, I'm just reading from this section, but I would assume that she's obviously showed signs of depression, maybe?
She'll be alright. I remember, like, you know, Zoe Harris, when she sort of got bored of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Get over it, don't even think about her now.
What, and how long did it take you to get over Zoe?
Zoe Harris.
How long did it take
To
you?
be honest, right, it was like one of my first girlfriends, and she was a pain. I remember I went out with her because she wouldn't stop hassling me, right?
Yeah.
And I remember
Good reason to fall in love with
that. Oh, go on
I
then.
never talked to her, and then the bit that really got me, I thought I half liked her, and then I remember, right, we were at a school party, sort of infant school,
Infant school?
right?
Are you sure it wasn't junior school?
Well, it's on the cusp,
Yeah.
right, when you're about to leave infants and go to the next one.
Yeah.
And she was crying because
You were saying, I don't think we should move in together.
She was crying. She
was crying.
How old was she?
Had you
She must
stolen
have
her
been-
milk?
She must have been nearly 6. Why didn't she grow up?
no, she was crying because somebody had stood on a dress and put a bit of an hole in it. And I said, oh, for God's sake.
I can't stand it. Oh,
So
God.
you,
I just think of him.
so you gave her a slap.
I just think of him like 6, like with clogs and a flat cap, going slightly bald, going for Christ's sake, woman, come on. Oh,
Light my pipe.
That finished it because all her mates were saying, come on, Carl, she's upset. And I was like, oh, whatever. So I saw her again.
hold on though. Wait a minute. What do you mean all the mates were saying, look, come on, Carl? They were 6, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were saying, come on, she's crying. Help her out.
And,
Like,
and you
it's
did
just-
nothing?
I don't know.
She's got injured. Got a hole in her skirt.
Yeah, but she was upset and you were her boyfriend.
Well,
So what did you do? Tell me the story. Where
Well,
were
it
you?
didn't work out.
You were at some kind of school do. There was a hole in her
That's why
dress.
it didn't work out, he said.
Do you treat your current girlfriend in the same way? This callous disregard for someone's feelings?
His current girlfriend does not tread on her dress. Does she?
Huh.
Oh, she didn't.
So,
tread,
as far
did
as
she?
you're concerned, what was her name? Sarah?
Zoe.
Zoe Harris. You just felt like, well, you know, if she's going to make a whinge about, you know, a silly little hole, screw her.
Yeah.
You're all heart, Carl.
What would you have done?
I'd have gone over there and give her a lovely kiss.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
We were playing Dead Arm. In the corner.
Ask him another question.
Okay, very final
Oh.
thought then. What do you say to the fact that a judge has decided that we, the general public, have a right to know about stars' flings? Basically, this is an excuse. This is basically saying, should papers be allowed to print tittle-tattle about celebrities?
Oh, this is.
Providing it's proven true.
Oh, this is something about, isn't it, of Division 1 football or something? It's definitely out of Premiership football, it's unfair. And it is true, but he's trying to keep privacy. And the judge said, well, it's not for us to censor the press over things that are true.
Right.
It's up to the general public to either boycott or not that publication.
What do you think, Carl? What about all this, exposing, going through the, the bins of celebrities?
It's not right, is it? But
No.
people are interested in it and buy the papers to read it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like I said to you the other week, everyone has a go at Beckham for not being that bright. But at the end of the day, he's a good footballer. It doesn't really matter what goes on off the pitch, does it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but what if you were a celebrity and they sort of splashed over the front page the fact that you just, didn't care less for Zoe Harris and her torn dress?
Zoe Harris is still upset.
Yeah, they dug her out, The night Karl Pilkington reduced me to tears.
Nah, I haven't done anything that bad.
Sure.
I wouldn't be worried.
Did you win the dead arm contest?
No. I was thinking about that the other day. Do you think there's a chance I could get blood clots in later life?
Did you play that a lot?
Yeah, a hell of a lot.
Do you ever do it, but like kind of headbutting?
No.
Okay. Because that would have explained something.
Dead arms.
Sure.
Any more?
No, that's it, Carl.
It was with people's blessing, was it? You had to give them a go?
Yeah.
And you played it with girls?
No.
Alright.
Oh, my mates.
Right.
So you were playing dead arms while she was off dancing and getting her hole ruined?
Yeah.
You romantic, you.
That's great. And you haven't changed a bit, have you? You still do that to this day, don't you? At functions and events. Oh dear. Well, what track we got here? You brought in a track.
Yes, I just thought I'd dig out some old Elliott Smith. I've quite enjoyed his work, and this was a previous single and the first track from his album Figure 8, Son of Sam.
XFM 104.9.
Sorry, I was going to back announce that track and just mention it was Elliott Smith and the track Son of Sam.
Well, I think I'd just better ask Carl a couple of quick questions about Hitler. Then we can get on with our lives.
Okay, we can tick that particular box.
Yeah, put that. Yeah. Okay, Carl.
Put that particular dictator to bed.
It's week 3 of his education. You've nailed Rasputin and Che Guevara. I don't want to lose complete sight of those. I'll maybe ask you a couple of those in the week just to so you keep your mind on it. But Hitler.
Tell us the story.
What have you learned?
Do you want to ask some questions?
No, not really. Just sum it up in a minute. What do you
Can't
think?
do it in a minute.
Well, can I ask some questions then? Where was he born?
Austria.
Tell us about his early life.
Right, he was a young lad. He,
Brilliant.
What in his early life? Okay.
Yeah.
what's the name? His mum was his dad's second cousin, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
They had 5 kids.
He's going, yeah, it's usually first cousin where I come from. Oh, that's unfair, isn't it? There's no need for that.
There was 5 kids, but only 2 of them, including Hitler, including him and his sister survived. The others died at an early age.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, so they grew up, and the mum died and the dad died and that, and he thought, oh, what am I going to do? Because he didn't do well at school, didn't have many qualifications.
No.
Liked art.
Did he have a GCSE in history?
Liked art, right? And then, so he said, right, I'm going to go to Munich. I missed a bit out, actually. Jewish people were in Austria, he didn't really like them.
Okay.
He thought they got, special treatments and stuff, and just didn't like them. So he went to Munich, and he joined the army.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he was in the army, and he got injured.
Right.
So he went to hospital, and whilst he was in hospital, the World War One ended, and he was like, "Oh God, I want to."
I was enjoying that.
Yeah, well, so don't, because you're breaking the concentration.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not even sure I want to join in on this one, just in case.
Okay.
Right. Go on.
Right. So
He was in hospital.
World War One. He's in hospital. It gets a bit better. He's never that fit though. He's one of these blokes who was always ill. That was on something like 30 tablets a day or something. Comes out of there, joins some other army.
Right.
God, I knew it all this morning.
I can see it running to ground. I just see his face going, I'm not nailing the fact, am I? And joined another army, and he was
Listen, let's try and help you. So
Here's a good bit. I remember this bit. He thought that war to men, right, was like childbirth is to women. That's how important he thought he was.
All right.
Right? So it's like, you fight for 9 months, and at the end of it, you own something, right?
Yeah.
So, he goes on and all that. He's in Berlin.
Yeah.
And, he's fighting his way through, like, trying to take over countries and that. And he does he do Berlin? Does he?
Sorry, wait a minute. Is he Chancellor yet?
What year is it? 35?
Let's
Where are you?
skip the kind of climb to power then. He's now the dictator of Germany.
Right, he's in charge, yeah. And this is when, you know, he gets his own back on the Jewish people and that, and he's got his own little armies, and he's setting fire to Jewish businesses and all this. And, anyway, cut a long story short,
Please do.
When he came to, like, fighting Britain,
Yeah.
came a bit sort of unstuck,
Yeah.
right? Started fighting
Not
back.
so easy, is it, this world domination, Adolf?
Britain was there, France was helping out,
Yeah.
Americans were helping out.
Yeah.
So he
Well,
thought, oh god, so
a bit late, but yeah, go on.
he goes into a bunker in Berlin,
Yeah.
and it's all kicking off,
Yeah.
and apparently, like, Germany sort of surrenders,
Yeah.
says it's all over, forget it, we can't beat you. He was really annoyed with this, and he thought, oh, I can't show my face around here. So
Because it would be embarrassing.
he's with his missus, who nobody knew was his wife,
Right.
Eva, in this bunker.
Yeah.
And so he said, I've had enough of this. He shoots himself.
Yeah.
She poisons herself, and the chauffeur buries him or something, or burns him.
Right.
And in all the time he was in charge, 50 million people died.
So that's 1918 to 1945.
Yeah.
Between...
It felt like that.
Between Travis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Next week. That's fantastic.
That's remarkable. I have to say that you sort of lost your grasp somewhere along the line, because you started off confidently, but you lost your way.
I've had a really busy week, and last night I was like whizzing through it.
Sure.
And then this morning, I woke up, and, you know, Suzanne had been away for about 3 days, right?
Yeah.
I hardly spoke to her. She's been busy, I've been busy. First thing to say when I wake up, oh, just ask me some stuff on Hitler.
You are romantic. That's great.
That's how stressful it's getting. But I knew it all this morning, honestly.
No, but that's fine. I think you've summed up the, you know, you've done that. Right,
captured it in essence.
just for a bit of balance, I've got your next week's, homework. It's the same series, there's little books, there's tiny little books, just 3 inches long by 2 inches wide.
Crammed with so much information there.
Winston Churchill. There you go. You'll enjoy that. Yeah?
I'm getting a bit bored now, though. This is what happened in school.
Think of the listeners.
Did really well in infants. Once got to secondary, lost interest.
Was it the breakup between you and Harris?
And Zoe. I'm wondering if, you spiralled into something there.
Yeah, because it's like all these other, you know, these men of history, they always had sort of things happen in their early childhood, didn't they? Maybe yours is the Zoe Harris, dress incident.
Well, let's just refer to it as the Zoe incident.
Yeah.
From now on,
Yeah.
Winston Churchill, the bit I left out in the Hitler story, Hitler was scared of this man.
Yeah.
And I can tell you something else about Winston Churchill.
Go on.
He said he can remembers being in the womb. And he was born in a public toilet.
Play a record. PJ Harvey, This Is Love, XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl. Karl called me in the week, Steve. I know we sort of banned each other from speaking to him.
What, you seem to have just disobeyed that rule every
I
week?
can't believe it. I just can't resist it. But, he said, just saw a programme. He said, what's that big balloon that blew up? And the newsreader was going all mental. And I went, is that the Hindenburg? He went, yeah. Oh, I said it was a big Zeppelin. He went, yeah. He went, what happened? I said, he said it was helium, wasn't it? And I went, yeah. So it was just a huge Zeppelin full of helium. And what caused us, I don't know, it could be a spark or anything, but of course it just goes, because it's helium so flammable. And he went, now they didn't show this in the documentary, but did all their voices go funny? And I went, what? He went, well no, if you take a little bit of a little balloon of helium, your voice goes funny. So if that was like millions of gallons of it, and it blew up in the air, and it was in the atmosphere, you'd be talking like Donald Duck, he went. So, imagine that.
God.
But what I liked about it, I said, this wasn't in the documentary.
No, it's an oversight. Maybe just time was against him, they didn't have time to explain.
Just like that book about Hitler didn't have his one ball incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It's annoyed me, that.
What? What?
The old Hitler book.
Why?
Just because I knew it all. Do you know what I mean? I was cycling in today. I was like, going through it all again.
Yeah.
Had it all in my head.
But that's why you should know something as opposed to just cram and have a piece of trivia that's precariously sort of teetering on the edge.
But what I don't understand,
you know what I mean?
it's well, you're not interested by it.
That's what I mean.
It's one of the most
you know,
fascinating things.
You know about things you're interested in, you never forget them, do you? You know.
Yeah, I was a bit interested in it, but like I say, I mean, I'm cramming all this into a normal week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go on and, you know, you watch telly and that in the week, you've got loads of leisurely time. I'm sort of using the only little bit of rest time I have to learn, as well as trying to do all my other stuff.
Yeah.
He texted me yesterday about Hitler. He went, stop making me read this heavy shit. He said, I've seen in the back of this book, there's one on Elvis.
No, I mean, it is interesting, but not when you have to read it, do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's
But
more
do you
like
think you'd
the
have read
other
it
time.
in your leisure time?
To be honest?
No, you wouldn't have, would you?
I wouldn't. No.
No, it's
What
not-
do you do in your leisure time?
I like, you know, going out for food and that.
Right.
Foraging. What do you mean going out for food?
going
They can have a little hole and go,
Go hunting.
Yeah. This is Karl. He's hungry. He knows he has to get to the greasy spoon by 11. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Many of Karl's close friends have never made it across this road.
There was a zebra crossing installed just for the safety of Karl. Beep, 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 beep. Can I have a bacon butty and... Karl is enjoying his... Wow, but he has to get back.
His girlfriend's asked for one as well. She's home with a PlayStation 2.
Wow.
Oh.
Alright, Rick. It was David Bowie impressions earlier, now it's just a selection of crazy sound effects, like that guy in Police Academy.
You said you wanted some. He hasn't got time to make them up. He's reading about Hitler. You heard him.
Do a machine gun or a helicopter.
We've got to do all our own sound effects. Oh. So do you want a week off? Do you not want to learn about Winston Churchill? Why don't you read it if you want to, and just if you get interested, then read on. I think
Because
that's
that's what I did with school and it didn't work.
no. You decided you didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
But hasn't that taught you something?
can't we just do it like a TV series? It doesn't go on forever. We've done 3 weeks. Give it a rest now for like the summer.
Yeah, because most series last for 3 weeks.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Okay. What's your favourite subject in the world? What's your favourite thing in the world?
I would have said, what, at school, like?
No,
Just
just in
nowadays in
life.
life.
What are you interested in?
I like little interesting bits. Like,
Sentences.
Atlantic Ocean. It's got 17 quadrillion gallons of water in it.
Right.
Well, that's interesting without having to read a book. And stuff.
Why is that interesting though? What are you basing that on? When you think of 17 quadrillion,
It's a lot, innit?
what are you imagining?
Just like a big wave. Imagine how much water.
Yeah.
Well, what's your subject then?
I don't know. No, it's just that Wilson, what's your favourite subject? You gave me a fact that is so...
No, but that sort of thing. Like I said to you before, you were talking about monkeys. And I said, do you know that if you give a monkey a childbirth tablet, it works on it the same way, because it's kitted out the same.
Could I just say something? We weren't talking about monkeys.
What were we talking about then?
You know, we were talking about something completely different, and you went, if you give a monkey a childbirth pill, it works. That's what you said.
No, we were talking about monkeys.
we weren't. We
wasn't
were talking about sneezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went, if you give a monkey childbirth pills, it works. That's...
Well, yeah, we were talking about interesting things about sneezing, and I remembered an interesting fact about monkeys. So...
Anyway, 2:30, brilliant. What did happen to that bloke who used to make the sound effects in Police Academy?
I don't know.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? Do you remember him?
I don't remember
Was he
him.
called Hightower?
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah?
If anyone knows, give us a call.
God.
Girls and boys.
You've embarrassed yourself then, Gervais.
What?
Well, we've had a number of calls and emails
Yeah.
pointing out that the Hindenburg disaster was not because the Zeppelin was filled with helium,
Hydrogen.
but filled with hydrogen.
Right, okay. Well, I thought about that when he told me in the
Well,
week.
yeah, but
I
let's-
assumed he must have got that off from the documentary. So it just went up. So that's probably why the voices didn't go
That was
funny.
probably why it didn't feature in the documentary.
Yeah.
But it seems to me we should have thought of that. I mean, like, it's school fates and stuff where they're like filling little balloons with helium.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be all kinds of horror stories if they were just, just blowing up, left, right and centre. I don't think you can just blow helium up like that, can you?
What?
Isn't that the point?
What
What I'm
do you
saying
mean?
is it can't be as potentially lethal as hydrogen. Helium.
What, hydrogen isn't as bad as helium?
No, helium's not as bad as hydrogen.
I don't know what you're saying, because that Hindenburg was hydrogen.
Yeah, and I'm saying, why did we think it was helium? That's crazy. You go to school fates and stuff with like little kids, and they're filling up little balloons with helium. They wouldn't have big canisters of helium, you know, at a charity event or a small kind of bring and buy sale if it was deadly.
Yeah, but it's not as big. I mean, when you buy those balloons at a fair, it's not as big as that big
But presumably
balloon.
it's still flammable, is it?
But it wasn't the fact how dangerous the rare gas was, or it was the fact that it was made of this thing that caught fire and just went. There was nothing. A hole in it would have been as bad. It just burnt quickly and fell to the ground because the hydrogen or helium escaped. It was irrelevant that what the gas was, wasn't it?
I thought it was that there was supposed to be some kind of explosion.
Well, I don't know what it was, but the point is, because the outer thing was so thin, right, the gas inside escaped and it fell to the ground.
So it just fell to the ground like when you've popped a balloon?
Well, not
It didn't
quite.
sort of go...
It didn't, like, flap all over the place and make a zany noise.
But I tell you what, 'cause when I was looking on the internet in the week for it, I was, like, trying to get a bit more info on it. Guess how many balloons it would take, helium balloons, to lift a human up?
Go on.
6,000.
Should we do it?
If you want.
Brilliant. Next week, that's got to be a challenge.
Is there a sort of balloon company or some sort of, party company that are willing to sponsor us to lift Karl
Into the air
Right.
with helium balloons.
10 feet off the ground, where we're tether him down, right? Is there someone willing to pay for 6,000 balloons to try and lift
We
Karl
could maybe
up?
get some kind of company to sponsor it. I'm thinking like Electrolux, if they're going to sponsor puddings.
If they're going to sponsor puddings, and celebrities, Russ Abbott, they will sponsor Karl being lifted. Heat magazine, come on. They're big selling, very successful magazine there, and they know about Karl because they've mentioned him. Heat magazine, can we have a heat balloon? Yeah? Oh,
6,000's an awful lot,
into
Rick.
the air, it's the heat 6,000 Karl challenge. Lift Karl 10 feet into the air.
Yeah.
Come on.
What about if it was Karl and Dr. Fox? We could get 2 different balloons.
I think we need a lot more than 6,000.
a lot more for Fox, isn't it?
Mixed, yeah. The heights. I just explain what I'm laughing at, right? We just had a call from someone saying his company would sponsor Karl, right, to be raised by all these balloons if he could have a walk-on part in the office. And we immediately went, oh, we're worried about that sort of thing. You can't really promise that artistic, you know. And I was worried about the legality of it as well. How can you promise someone that for personal gain that's a private, and all that sort of stuff, right? And I went, oh, I don't know. And anyway, put the phone down to him, and Karl went, I love the fact you're more effing worried about that than me being raised 30 feet in the effing air. You started getting scared, did you? Are you worried about it?
Well,
You're quite excited about the idea of the challenge, though, aren't you?
I like the idea, but I want, like...
Why do you like the idea, Karl?
Oh, what if it went all wrong and we're there going, oh, the humanity of it.
I think we need
Karl
to get...
is just, he's just...
and the rope would pull out my trousers and punch him.
Oh, no, it's definitely got to be Dr. Fox if that's going to happen.
Oh, God. Oh, we've got to do this.
So hang on, but let's just think about because wait a minute, I mean, we say this, but we'd have to get all kinds of health and safety people involved.
No, we wouldn't.
Of course we can't just start raising you in the air!
No, you're allowed to do it on private land, aren't you?
Look what happened to the Hindenburg!
No, but I was just saying there was lots of people died. Listen, look, all we do is we get someone, right?
But what if he gets loose and he just floats off into the air?
No, he never, and he meets his magpie that he lost. He used to peck his
With
grifter.
balloons.
So,
I'm so excited about this. Listen, we've got to do this.
No, but
Please.
shut up a minute, let's
No.
just stop and think about it. It's
Right.
60,000
Balloons.
balloons.
Look, no,
Was
it's
it
not. It's
6,000?
6,000.
But 6,000 balloons, that's a lot of balloons.
No, it's not. No, it's
don't be
not.
silly.
For
6,000
sponsorship, people pay for... no, listen, it's worth it. There must be a company out there that'll pay for this, just so we can film
Hang on,
it.
is there not an easier way of just getting one big balloon? Then the challenge is there's no challenge
No,
then.
it's
Yeah,
got
it's
to be.
not
It's
funny.
got to have people coming up and hooking balloons. It'd be like Buckaroo, and the person who puts the balloon that actually raises him 10 feet wins a prize or something.
So hang on, so what we've got each person with like 500 balloons.
Yeah.
That's mad! Can you imagine how many balloons that is? That's ludicrous.
6,000. Yeah.
That's an awful lot of balloons.
I don't know. There must be someone that could do this. Oh look, people have walked on the moon for Christ's sake. We can raise Karl Pilkington with some balloons.
Yes, but they had a NASA budget. We've got XFM behind us.
Yeah, but balloons,
Yeah.
balloons are cheap. You can get about a pack of 25 for about 150.
Right, fine.
No.
True.
Yeah, the helium though, Karl. You can't just like attach yourself to a pack of balloons.
No, but
What, you think we blow them all up?
with helium.
Right.
Oh.
Off you go.
But then we can do something with the balloons, can't we? Like, release them afterwards.
Oh, we'll release them back into the wild. Brilliant, as a sign of peace. Fly, my pretties, fly,
Listen,
be free.
I am so excited. I have not been so excited about, and when I thought that Robin Ince was going to stay in my cupboard for £1,000. Look, we've got to do this.
6,000 balloons. I don't think it's going to happen. That's an awful lot of balloons, and I just don't think. I don't see how we can tether them all to Karl. He's a small man.
No, but
because
if
you have
you,
them at different lengths, don't you?
yeah, exactly. Karl knows.
Can you think about the logistics of this?
Oh, someone must know. There must be a couple. There's a bloke willing to do it. I know he doesn't know the technology of it. He's willing to sort of stump up.
And
What sort of a company just
Come on,
has
we-
access to helium like that?
But we can do this. Come on,
Well,
London,
someone's done it, 'cause
Londoners.
It was on the internet already, so someone obviously has done it.
Yeah.
So they didn't say, "Oh, we can't get hold of the balloon."
No, they probably worked it out, didn't they? That's what I think.
Karl, you're more excited about this than anything else. About your education, about your exam results. You're
it's
so
exciting.
excited.
And we'll have a little rope. We're like flying a little kite, a little Karl. We're let's go. And
Karl,
fly.
what will you wear? Like a one-piece jumpsuit
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
with sponsorship all over it?
Oh, it'd be
Yeah.
great. You look like Jackie Stewart, and just as you go up your little face, oh my god, I'm not going to sleep until this is done. This is the most exciting thing ever.
Only 10 feet.
10 feet, yeah, and
We
we'd
need some.
tether you.
We need some kind of rope to sort of tether you to the ground. We
Yeah.
don't want you sort of flying off.
This is going to be great. And you'll have a little crash helmet and everything, and little deedie boppers on the crash helmet, like
Yeah.
he's a little flying ant.
Definitely.
We give him a little, oh my god, can we give you a little outfit, like little wings and everything?
Can we
Oh.
paint your face with like children's
No,
paint?
I'm not
Yeah.
doing all that.
Why?
Oh, no, because that would be silly.
Oh, please, Karl, do this. Do it. We'll do it for charity. We'll do it for charity, yeah?
Alright.
Yeah? Oh, this is
We'll
gonna
do it
be
for children in
brilliant.
need.
Please, just phone in if if you can help us. Lift Karl up 30 feet. Let's say 30
I think
feet.
it has to be a decent.
Yeah, it has to be a decent
Well,
height.
is there a world record? Because we want to break that if we're
Yeah, I
going
want to break that. What is the world record for raising a man by balloons?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so listen, let's just finalise details here. We've got
I'm so excited.
email address ricky.gervais
Yeah.
at xfm.co.uk. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
What's the number? What's the number?
The number, Karl?
08700 800 1234.
Give it
Lift
again,
Karl.
give it again.
Lift Karl.
08700 800 1234.
Sponsored by Heat Magazine
And
or
you,
something.
maybe
like-
even if you've just got an idea about how we might be able to organise it, how we might be able to get it done, if you've got contacts, anything, just get in touch, give us some information.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm gonna play a Beatles track for song for the lovers.
Oh, man.
It's off the Help album, and it's You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Oh, just think of his little face as he goes on.
Could you tell it that?
Well, XFM, it's nearly the end of the show. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. We've enjoyed your company, Karl. We're going to try and get Karl in the air. Anyone that can help us, take him up with helium balloons. Our friend Johnny Mango called again, and apparently the record's 11,000 feet. Karl is getting a little bit nervous.
Yeah, the world record is 11,631 feet raised by hot air balloons.
Yeah.
How tall's Canary Wharf?
It's 11,631 feet. Exactly.
What's-
I don't know, Karl.
Is it how much higher?
It's a long way.
More.
I'm not doing
Lot.
Because I'm like 6 foot something.
Yeah, think of that. Just look at Steve.
Alright?
Yeah.
that. But you can change your record. You could say, well, the sort of balloons are the one with Mickey Mouse on it or something.
Yeah, could I just
Change it
could I just
slightly.
say something? That man did 11,000 feet, but he wasn't naked. Alright?
Come on, Karl.
Your 30 feet will be the world record for naked ballooning. Yeah?
Mm.
Think about it.
Alright, it's for charity.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone. We are going to raise Karl. We are going to raise Karl. And after Karl said, and just to think, my teacher said I'd never be a high flyer. So this is your chance, Karl, to shine, to fly.
Steve.
It'll be brilliant. This is a final song for the ladies. Belle and Sebastian, we've not heard them for a while. This is from, it's actually a B-side or a triple side or whatever you call it. Track 3 on a single called Jonathan David. This is the beautiful The Loneliness of the Middle Distance Runner. Play it.
Goodbye.